What's up, YouTube? This is DeAndre Branch, and on today's show, I'll discuss my opinions on NFL players' purses. As most of you may already know, this has been a very huge topic in the NFL and in other sports. It began last season when Colin Kaepernick was still playing for the 49ers, and he began kneeling before every game during the national anthem. It quickly became a huge controversy in the NFL because many fans stopped coming to games. They held signs during games, talking about Kaepernick in a very bad way. Last season, Kaepernick made it clear that he wasn't going to stop kneeling before the games during the national anthem, and many fans hated that. But he also gave his reasons for doing so. His main reason for kneeling during games was because he wanted racial equality for African Americans. He felt like the African American race as a whole was just treated differently than other races. And he wanted to make it known that he had the minorities back that couldn't speak for themselves and didn't have the platform to speak for themselves. As weeks progressed in the season, a few other players started joining Kaepernick in his protests. And it wasn't just players on his own team. Some players chose to kneel, and some players chose to hold a Black Power sign while they stood up and listened to the national anthem. After last season, Colin Kaepernick became a free agent. And throughout this season, we're in week 6, and he still has not been signed by an NFL team, which has to be because of his protesting from last season. That could be the only reason, honestly, because there's not 30 quarterbacks in the NFL better than Colin Kaepernick. You have a bunch of quarterbacks in the league that haven't touched the playoffs a day in their life. Then you have a bunch of other quarterbacks that have made the playoffs every year, but they have not won a playoff game. But yet, Kaepernick still sitting around without a job. When Kaepernick finally got his chance to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, he led his team to the playoffs, and he also led them to the Super Bowl before they lost to the Ravens. Last season, he started the season as the backup quarterback for the 49ers behind Blaine Gabbert, which I honestly don't know how Blaine Gabbert got the starting job over him, but it happened. In the middle of the season, the 49ers starting Kaepernick, and he ended the season with 16 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. That's Kaepernick game. He's one of the more accurate passers in the league. And with 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, even if you're not going to let him start, he should definitely still be on somebody's NFL team right now. Like, it's just an insult. It makes no sense at all. Most NFL fans can't even tell you who Kaepernick even threw to last season. The 49ers had a bunch of receivers that shouldn't even be in the NFL, and that's no knock on them, but it's just the truth. A few weeks ago, Kaepernick said if an NFL team signed him, he would not protest because he felt like his protest did work in some way. So, with that said, somebody better sign him, like, soon. There's a bunch of teams that got their quarterbacks hurt and could definitely use him. But they choose to play quarterbacks that have no chance of succeeding in the NFL. And they just keep losing games. And that's just what it is. Even though Kaepernick isn't in the NFL right now, there's still many players in the league protesting today. And President Donald Trump had a message to many of the organizations in the NFL saying if a player on your team protests during the national anthem, they should be fined or fired. Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones has basically said the same thing, and many of his players haven't joined the protesting. This just goes to show you this is a very crooked world that we live in, because we supposedly have freedom of speech, but when we use it, it's not what you think. You can't just not let your players do what they want when it comes to freedom of speech. If they want to kneel during the national anthem, that's their right to do so. If they want to stand and sing it, that's also their right to do so. Now, I could agree that the coaches in the league could just not let their players come out at all during the national anthem, and that could just stop all the backlash from players. The Steelers did that before a game a couple of weeks ago, and they received a bunch of backlash over it, including their quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, who said he did not want to do it, but he only did it because the rest of the team did it. And that's what Coach Mike Tomlin wanted him to do. I just hope one day we live in a world where there will be less judgmentation and everyone can just get along. Thanks for tuning in today. This concludes my show. And if you're new watching, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share. Do what you want to do. Be out.